What is going on, everybody? Today we are going to do a kind of year-end 2021 budget knives, kind of the favorite budget knives that I have of the year that I've enjoyed. Some are a little bit more, some a little bit less. Which ones do I ultimately prefer? We are going to take a look. I'm going to first and foremost do a honorable mention because this knife is definitely came to heart with me this year, and that is the Tucson 300 TS 300. This knife is absolutely awesome. It obviously, when I bought it, wasn't necessarily budget friendly because it had just come out a few months ago. And of course, it's on eBay, and you get into the bidding wars on these knives, and they can be mighty pricey. But then eventually they come down, and more recently, it's a lot more budget friendly depending on who's battling it out on eBay. This thing is razor sharp. It's a great knife. Keep an eye open for the review. I'm going to do a full review. You're going to want to watch it. But that's an honorable mention because I'm sure it will fall under $100. And who knows how low they can go with the bidding. So keep an eye on that one. Let's see what we got here, guys. We got Recon 1 Mini. We got the Keen Nadder. We got the Tie 22. We got the Kizer Vanguard. We have the CIVIVI Brazen. And the Sledgehammer by Bestech. Okay, so let's start off with the first one over here, Bestech. This is a cool knife, green micarta. You know, it's, let me take, I gotta even really look for the price here. I don't even remember. Yeah, you know, yeah, $52. Yeah, that's right. I had a total brain fart on that one. So for $50, this is a great little knife. Do have to be careful. Action is super quick, super smooth. It is great. It feels good in the hand. For a smaller knife, I'm not a small knife person at all, but overall great. Let's skip around. Tie 22. I really enjoyed this knife. I wasn't too sure what I was going to think about it when I got it. Super slippery, but I mean, really a cool knife overall. It was a surprise that after I got it, how much I've actually enjoyed using it. You know, the Recon 1 Mini, cool knife, very good action, pretty stiff overall. But you know that comes from some of these Recons. Action can be definitely typical of a Recon, but in this one, you know that. The spring is very stiff in it. But anyway, great knife overall. It was a very good one. Let's do the Keen Nadder. Look at that action. Look at that action. This is why I have two CIVIVIs in here. This one too. Just effortlessly. I mean, these knives, CIVIVI has just really, when it comes to budget knives, really stepping it up. This one was a super surprise. I wasn't even sure about this knife either. This thing is crazy good. So, there we go. So, let's see here. What are my favorites? My favorites that really basically boiled down to is, even though this is a great knife, it really is. It's just kind of too small. Tanto tip or chisel tip, or however you want to call it. It's very odd. Action, phenomenal though. It really is. That's why it's on this list. Definitely, for sure. But you even have to watch it, because if you sling it too much, that thing will get the back of your thumb quick as anything. Recon 1. Just, it's not an action knife, it's not a fidget knife, but when it comes to a small knife for real rugged task, these things, they have a reputation, and this thing lives up to it. It's got a great edge on it. That spring's pretty stiff, But like I said, it's cold steel action. It's aggressive. So there you go. Type 22. Even though I have really enjoyed it, surprisingly good action from Ontario Knife. Just, you know, feels good, and it feels good in the hand, but it's just still too slim of a knife for me. I have a real issue with the slimmer knives. Just don't, you know, it feels like you're just too empty, especially if you're really going to have to use it. And then the Keen Nadder, great knife. Action's phenomenal. Some people are going to have an issue with that recurve, and that's a sensitive recurve. It's not aggressive, but if you don't keep them right, you're gonna lose a very mellow secondary Tanto tip there, and it turn into a drop point, or so you got to be really careful with that. But the action's phenomenal. The length of the knife is great. If the handle was taller, felt a little bit better, then my micarta is great. But if it was a little bit taller in the handle, it would feel a little bit better. It kind of feels thin in the hand, especially for the blade. These two here, these are the ones right here. I would have to say it's a tight one, but I'd have to say the Kizer, excellent knife. Excellent knife. The action is just phenomenal. This knife has gotten me a few times. The flipping action is just absolutely phenomenal. That aggressive handle. I mean, but not so aggressive that it's tearing your pocket apart, but it's not coming out of your hand. This brazen, oh my God, the action. The overall feel in the hand. And these two knives here too. Keep in mind, the brazen is right now $43. I mean, come on. D2, and a good D2. I mean, this thing has held up its edge very nicely. Multiple deployment methods with your thumb studs or with your flipper tab. It's a fidget knife. You can sit here and fidget this thing all day long. It'll drive you insane. It'll drive your old lady insane. So, and then the Kizer. Get into the Kizer. Now, a little bit more money. It's $62 right now. But look at that. This thing is Bore N690, and it is Bore N690. This thing is held at edge. This thing is great. The action is phenomenal. Very tactical, very discreet, sits in your pocket, as deep as it's gonna go. Recessed screws, that's all these guys. Recessed screws, they go in your pocket, you don't even know they're there. Super fidget friendly. This thing obviously only has the flipper tab, but man, it's just the action. Super smooth, great blade steel. So for $62, how can you go wrong? Let's see. Did I even say how much Ontario is right now? Ontario right now is $50. Os 8, not bad for Os 8, but $50. It's a nice knife. It's titanium frame lock. Keen Nadder, what's it going for? A quick price on that. Now these are more because they're micarta, but $73 right now. Multiple deployment, thumb studs, great overall knife. Recon 1, what's it going for? And this is where this is where a lot of you guys may agree or may not. It's almost $70 right now. Compared to some of these other knives for what you're getting, I don't know. I mean, these are all Chinese made, Asian made knives, Taiwan, whatever. I mean, no one's immune to that in this group. So it's a bit of a hefty price tag. And you're not talking about any luxurious, it's OS 10A steel. So still not a bad price for the knife. I mean, this thing's going to hold up. It's going to be able to do some aggressive knife cutting, knife work, whatever you're going to try to do. It's gonna last. It's got a, you know, well, it's got the strongest lock out of all these. So it's not bad if you're definitely a cold steel fan. If you're looking for a fidget friendly knife, that may be, you know, may not be for you. So anyway, there you guys go. These are the knives that I've enjoyed the most. Somewhat budget friendly for kind of anyone can juggle. You know, there's a lot of different price ranges here, but when it comes to Tantos, you can only find just so many Tantos. So that's why when I consider a budget-friendly knife, I consider it anything under $100, give or take your budget. You're gonna kind of be able to afford it. So there you guys go.